Hello and welcome to Talking Games match preview of Liverpool against West Ham United Wednesday night live on Amazon Prime from Anfield. Gonzo, can I get your thoughts on Liverpool, please?
Yeah, really interesting season for Liverpool. Obviously, Liverpool fans wouldn't particularly see it that way. But fortunately, West Ham have managed to time it. So Liverpool are just coming into form, which is nice for us. So they've had the big win against Rangers, and then they've had the crucial win against Manchester City as well. I don't buy into all the doom and gloom that it's over at Liverpool and it's over for Jurgen Klopp. The margins between them being the best football team anyone has ever seen last season and them just winning the League Cup and the FA Cup was so slim. So slim. They played every game it was possible to play last season. That's how good they were. They were in a slither of beating an amazing Manchester City side to the Premier League. They lost the Champions League through a man of the match performance by Real Madrid's goalkeeper. And I just think they were such high expectations that, all managers do this. Don't want to talk about the quadruple and whatever. It's not the quadruple, but managers don't want to talk about that sort of stuff. But it was on everyone's minds. Would have been on the players' minds, and I just think they've just had this massive climb down. And there's lots of other things have happened. Sadio Mane and other things that you might think, new players coming in. But I don't actually think last season they were the best team that has ever graced the world of football in 150 years. But I also don't subscribe to the theory that they've lost it and Klopp can't take the club any further and all the rest of it. I still think they're a very, very good football team.
Yeah, I completely agree with that, really. I think it's all been blown out of proportion. And I think the fact that Man City are so good this season, I don't think has helped. So it makes the gap look wider. It has done. They've had a rocky start to the season, but so what? It doesn't really matter. What happens at the end of the season is what really counts. And it might end up being a blessing in disguise long term if come a couple of months to go, they're not going to win the title, actually. And then they can focus on the Champions League, something they weren't able to do last season. Like you said, played in every single game possible. Those players must have been absolutely shattered come the end of the season. Then get told, right, you're off to Nations League, majority of you. Come on, get going. So actually might do them a little bit of a benefit in the long term if come the end of the season, the league title is over. They can say, right, you know what, we're not going to play Salah this weekend. We're not going to play Thiago and Van Dijk. We're going to use other players and keep them fresh and fit for the Champions League and make sure that is our priority, because it is difficult when you're successful in so many competitions as they were last season to juggle that. The demand on the player are exceptional. And Klopp and Liverpool have got a big job on their hands starting this summer, which is almost to not reinvent Liverpool, but certainly try and replace their players like for like and change a little bit in the style of play and their formation. And we're seeing that now. He's using an extra attacker or two up front sometimes as well in recent games. And like you said, they've taken a little bit of a gamble, letting Mane go and bringing in Nunez and then trying to get Harvey Elliott into the team, Fabio Carvalho coming into the team as well. Injuries are playing a big part of their season so far, with their centre-backs being injured, Robertson's been injured, Alexander-Arnold's been injured. So there's been a lot of things for Jurgen Klopp to contend with in such a short space of time. And then you add in what I think is the worst bit, which is the mainstream media pressure to some extent. And whenever a big club fails, the media love it because it fills up the back pages and the websites and stuff. Now, it's a bit hypocritical from us as we're a fan channel. We do the same to some extent as well. But I think there's almost like this enjoyment that when a club struggles, happy days, there's our topics for the next week. Let's discuss it and go over and over and over and over it. And it's no surprise to see Klopp almost exploding at the officials on Sunday afternoon against Manchester City to some extent. I mean, where do you think it's gone wrong for Liverpool so far? Or do you think it's quite simple, just a slow start to the season and there's nothing else to it?
I just think it's a hangover. I just think they were so close to almost immortality, right? They would have been like that, right? Win the Champions League, the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the League Cup.
Well, it just blows United in '99 out the water, doesn't it?
It really is. I think it's that big, right? And then I think there's just I mean, from the club, even the city, whatever, the players, everyone. I just think it's hard to motivate yourself from that. Where I think everybody else is motivated. Man City are motivated. Man City think, well, we've managed to do as well as we have without a striker. Now we got this fantastic striker in. Arsenal were just, sort of getting better. And I think so much of it is probably fatigue and so much of it's mental. Now, then so I think that's the big reason. Then I think you have other reasons, which are the Salah contract situation. But even him, up until a week ago, Salah, I was reading it. Salah was finished. People are not saying that now after Man City, of course. But this is how fickle it can be. The Mane one is a big one. But again, last season, no one was saying anything because Diaz had come in and done so well. Jota doesn't quite look like he had, but you saw glimmers against Man City that he might be coming back to it. So I think you've got those things. But things get blown out of all proportion. Trent Alexander-Arnold is a conference level defender now. And wow, they just wouldn't have been able to do all that. If he was that crap, they wouldn't have been able to do all that last season. He's an amazing footballer, all right, who's having a bit of a bad run at the moment. And but look at them when they were in their pomp, Robertson and Trent Alexander-Arnold. Don't worry about how bad their defending might have been because, crikey, they were playing as almost attackers. So I think there's a lot going on there. What I would say, though, so I do think it's a hangover. What I would say, when I watched that Champions League final, it was evident to me, and as I said it to you, I said they are crying out for a striker and a proper central midfielder. It was clear. And actually, I think somebody might not be the biggest name in the world, but somebody as understated as Wijnaldum was actually quite a good player for them. Now, I'm not saying they go back and get Wijnaldum back. They could do with a better caliber player there. But I'm sorry, but when you look at it, in terms of the energy levels, the rest of it, Henderson's just not cutting it. It's trying to shoehorn Milner, and there's just not cutting it. They sorted the striker out. They got Nunez. I still feel, and that's why I think they're not at the level of the other clubs in terms of their spending power, because any other club in their position, I include Man United in this, would have gone out and they would have bought this. It's clear they needed those two positions. They're really good wide, Liverpool. But down the spine, striker and defender, and central midfielder, and that's where I don't think they've been backed. Klopp has not been backed by his owners. Klopp needed to be given £200 million, and he wasn't.
Yeah, I actually agree with that because there's a lot of talk about that at the minute. Because obviously in the build-up to Man City game, Klopp has said, "Well, how can we compete with that club? We can't compete with them. They've gone out and got the best striker in the world. What are you meant to do?" And then obviously, as a domino effect, it then comes out, "Well, look how much you've spent, Jurgen. You're not exactly poor yourself. Look at your £85 million striker you got run around there." But this is the point, isn't it? That Man City don't need to go out and spend loads of money, but they did. They went and got Calvin Phillips, but nobody mentions it because they've not said him. Man City made a profit in the summer because they were selling all their youngsters, which they've invested in years ago. They're selling them for 10, 15 million without playing a game for the first team. They're able to get that income stream, which Liverpool don't have. And they are behind Man City, they are behind Man United, and they're behind Chelsea as well. Look at Chelsea. You geezer rocks up, says, let's just start splashing the cans. Let's go. Rudiger's left on a free. Let's replace him with Koulibaly. Sorted. That's that sorted out. What next then? What else do we need? Striker. We'll go get Aubameyang. He's left back. Well, you've got Chilwell. Let's go get Cucurella as well then. Well, let's just have two of the best left backs in the country because one's not quite enough. And they are behind those clubs in the spending power. They don't have it. And this is where they have to plan a little bit more in advance, which is next summer we'll get the centre midfielder. And these are the ones we're going to go after. Hopefully they don't go anywhere between now and then. They did go get Arthur from Juventus, who's out injured. We're not seeing him yet. He's injured.
That's right. Actually, I totally forgotten.
Late in the window because there was injuries to the likes of Thiago and all that, and Henderson and Milner were playing centre midfield and really struggling. And they went and got him, but he's injured. They've not had him yet, so it's like they went and got a short-term fix. They thought, right, we can't afford a centre midfield, so we'll go get someone that can maybe do a job for the next year. But that's not the standards of a club competing for the title. Man City really say, let's loan someone in that can do a job for 12. No, they go, let's go get that guy now. Let's go get him. We'll go get Calvin Phillips because we might need him in 2 years' time. We'll go get him now so that he's ready in 2 years' time. And that's the big difference. Title race, yes or no?
No, I don't. They're too far behind. There's too much momentum with Arsenal. There's a bit too much swagger with Man City, and they don't have the squad. They don't compete. You talk about Man City bringing in money. They already had all the squad there. They almost had space for another forward, which is why they had to let one go. I think I'd like to know on this. I think they spent about 85 million on top of Liverpool here on Núñez. I think they recouped about that. I'd have to look at it again. I'm pretty sure they spent almost nothing on a net spend. Now, it's different to Man City and Liverpool because Liverpool needed to. Liverpool are some players shy. I just don't think you can't do it with that central midfield. It ain't bad, by the way. What's his? I always get him. Fabinho is the midfield. It's Fabinho, isn't it? Not bad at all. And Thiago, we'll watch him all day. Honestly, I pay money just to watch him play. But I'm talking, you know what the type of midfielder I'm talking about, competing in the middle. Where's your athlete? Where's your box to box? Where's your punch in it? And I don't think it's going to be enough to see them through.
Right, get your crystal ball out. 3 yes, no questions. You've already given me the title, which is no. Champions League top 4.
Yes.
Win a domestic cup, the FA Cup or the League Cup.
Yes.
Win the Champions League.
No.
Okay, I agree with that. I think I'm the same as you for all that. Anyway, before we talk about the players we admire from Anfield, let's take a look at the players I admire for the midweek version of Spitch. And before I get started, this video is sponsored by Spitch, but last weekend I played the paid game for £1.70. I made a profit because I won some money. I made a profit.
He won some money. This anyway, much is true.
I won some money. So I'll tell you my team, then I'll tell you how you can get involved this midweek as well. Gonzo, this is my 11 going into this game. I've got the Crystal Palace goalkeeper. My back three, I've gone with Van Dijk. I've also got Trippier and Webster. My midfield four is Mount, Aronson, Bruno and Ramsey. And my front three is Salah, Solanke and Mitrovic. Now, obviously, there's no Arsenal or Man City in this game week. So there's no Haaland, no De Bruyne. Now, the heavy hitters are out. Madison's suspended. The guaranteed points haul are gone. So you've got to get a bit creative this week. And this is my team. What are you thinking?
Yeah, well, you've gone proper fantasy football then, really, haven't you there? You're obviously relying on Solanke a little bit there, mate. Ramsey, you're thinking Ramsey's going to do something in there. I'm not even entirely sure he's always going to... I like him, good player, but I always think, when you've got a desperate manager, and they do, is he going to pull him out, basically? An interesting team, mate. I can't say anything. You beat me this week.
Yes, I beat Gonzo again, and I won some money this week. And if you want to get involved in the Spitch Fantasy Football app, you can download it below. There's free-to-play games, but there's also games you can pay to play. That game that I'm playing is a classic Premier League game, which costs £1.70. Top prize at the minute is 50 quid. Obviously, it goes up. The more people enter, the higher the price. So at the minute, £1.70 to enter, £50. Last weekend, I paid my £1.70 and got back £2.60. So I made a small profit, but I did finish well off the pay. I was way down the table, but the top 25% got paid. So as long as you finish in the top 25%, you get some money. So the Spitch app, download it below, 18 plus only. Gonzo, players you admire from Liverpool, please.
I just mentioned Thiago again. I love those sort of players. He's so bright. He's so intelligent. I think he's brilliant.
He's one of the best in the league, isn't he? He's just class. There's two players I've written down to speak about. Thiago's one of them. He's just...
Well, let's leave that then for you.
No, we can discuss him together.
We can. Isn't he lovely? He's brilliant. It just effort. Players like that, it's effortless. It's just effortless. They stroll into space. I'm not suggesting he's lazy, but the vision, the pass, the way he links the play, he is just brilliant. I think they might have got him on a free, I'm sure his wages aren't free, but I think he's a really, really good player. And I think probably they missed a bit of that once they lost Coutinho. I think they did pretty good business selling Coutinho for 150 million, but brought a really nice bit of creativity to the middle of the field. What do you think about him then?
Yeah, it's just like you said, effortless is the way I would sum him up. When you watch him play, he just receives the ball and he does such sort of delicate skill that it's not necessarily a step over to go past his man, but he might just do the way he just cradles the ball with his feet almost, that he just moves the ball about the pitch. And he makes the difficult things look so simple, and it's almost annoying watching somebody be that good. You're like, oh, piss off! How are you that good? But he's by far one of the best players in the Premier League. He's in the top 5 players of the Premier League for me. He's just utter quality. Technically, possibly the best player in the Premier League. Him and Kevin De Bruyne are on another level when it comes to sort of footwork and control of the ball and passing and stuff like that. He's just world class. And anyone else you admire? Anyone else you'd like to
mention? Yeah, I'm really impressed with Harvey Elliott. And obviously, particularly come back from the bad injury that he had. I know it was very early in his career, and you heal a bit. Us youngsters heal a little bit quicker, when we get injured, don't we? But I really like him. Like the way he plays. I think he's got a really big future. The goalkeeper's good. So bright, so bright. He really is. The way he distributes the ball is excellent. And I probably just should say, I'm impressed with what I've seen from Núñez, actually. A bit of a rocky start, got the suspension and whatnot. I think his decision-making needs to improve. However, clearly a very, very good player.
Firmino's it's the second coming of Firmino recently, isn't it? I think he's possibly one of sort of the most underappreciated players in the Premier League, to be honest with you. I think he's going to have to sort of retire from the game, and in 10 years' time, we'll look back in neutrals. This is, I'm pretty sure Liverpool fans know how good he is and how important he is. But I think neutrals, like you and I, will look back and think, flipping hell, he was vital to Liverpool's success. Yeah. He's so important. He's in form as well, scoring all the goals. And you look at that players they've got, like you said, Núñez, Jota, Luis. I know he's injured. I know. Lewis is injured. Luis. How do you say Luis? Lewis.
There's Douglas Luis, right?
Luis and Salah. You've got all those players, but actually Firmino's the one scoring the goals, the ever reliable and dependable, the one that Klopp trusts.
Is it Luis? I'm thinking of Luis Diaz.
Yes, that's it. Luis Diaz. That's what I'm trying to say. I couldn't get it out.
But we like Louis. Louise is nice as well. We like him.
Yeah, Louis is a nice bloke. Anyway, Firmino, second coming of him this season. He's really good this season. So anyway, enough about Liverpool. Let's talk about West Ham. In terms of team news, we don't really know. Is Cornet fit or not? We're not sure. Moyes told us 2 weeks ago he was out for 2 weeks. So the 2 weeks is sort of up. But will he be available for Wednesday or not? I mean, you'd be inclined to say no because he wasn't even on the bench on Sunday, but we'll have to wait and see. And also with Craig Dawson and Kurt Zouma. With Kurt Zouma, it was apparently he was having a bit of a late fitness test kind of thing. So the expectation is that he may make it. But with Craig Dawson, we've not really heard too much. So this preview's got a little bit trickier, Gonzo, because we don't really know who's available for selection and who's not. So we assume both are fit, Zouma and Dawson, that is.
I don't know about assumptions, but I almost don't care. I need someone fit. The doctor, the magic injection, the sponge, performance enhancing drugs, whatever it takes. We need to do something here just to try and get at least one of those centre backs. We cannot go in with that defence that we went in against Southampton with. That is no, we cannot do that under any circumstances. They've just started to come into form, Liverpool. I spoke about a hangover. That's subsiding, it seems. Salah looking a little bit spring in his step. Jota started to get going. Núñez about to just look at that and think, oh, my goodness, that they will cause us absolute mayhem. We need Zouma. We need Dawson. We have to. So I have to assume and I have to hope.
Yeah, well, this will be interesting then. Right, so with Dawson and Zouma assumed to be fit and available for the game, let's talk about how we would like to line up. Not how we think Moyes will. In goal, are you back to Fabianski yet? Or are you still with that real there?
I think Fabianski has earned his place back in my starting 11.
We like a flip-flop goalkeeper selection on this show. We do. We've been doing it for the last year. We're not going to just stop anytime soon.
No.
Right, your defence. How would you like to line up?
4 at the back.
And personnel, yeah.
I think... Okay, so we'll go Dawson and Zouma in the middle. That's clear. Cresswell at left back. I think I might go Johnson at right back for this one. I think Kara's had a really good start to his West Ham career, but he's played as many games as anyone else. I sort of would miss his mobility a little bit, but because you're taking the fastest defender out of the defence, which is perhaps not a clever thing to do against Liverpool. That being said, I don't expect us to push up the pitch like Man City did, so Alisson and kick it down there and kick it to Salah. That won't. Crikey, can you imagine? Imagine this would get clipped, wouldn't it? That won't happen against West Ham. I don't think we will, so I think we'll sit a bit deeper. So I'll play Johnson.
Same back four for me, really. When you're sort of writing them down, and it's all hypothetical, but there's almost a weakness no matter who you play, how you make up your defence, whether it's a back four or a back five, there's a weakness there. There's something I'm not happy with. Going into this game, for this fixture, and that's the important part here, the context of it, I don't think there is a right choice for the back four, the back five. I don't think there's a defence that picks itself and says, this is the obvious choice. Go with this and you will be fine. Like, this back four, I'm looking at Creswell thinking, well, we're just asking for Creswell to get exposed, but he's probably been our best player. If you take the last 3 games as a block, he's probably been our best player going into this one. Yeah. So he deserves to start. So let's start him. Then you're just asking for Liverpool to put Salah one-on-one with him for 90 minutes. And that spells trouble. The only time we've been worried about Creswell this season is when it has been a race, when Kulusevski went just sprinting past him at one point last season as well. He just bombed it past him. So the lack of pace can be alarming at times, but I don't know what other options there are. So it's the same back four for me. But moving into midfield, this would be interesting. What would you like to see happening in midfield then?
I want to see a 4-4-2. We won't, but that's
Sean
what I want.
Style.
Sorry?
Sean Dyche.
There's other managers I would prefer you to use in comparison to me. But if you want to use old Dyche, then I guess
Mike. What's his name? Bennett. Mike Barrett, the England manager.
Mike Bassett.
Bassett.
No. See, he didn't. He did revert. Yeah, we're going to play 4-4-2. Yeah, no, because beforehand he had the system with the sixpence in the middle. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably more my style. Yeah, I am actually. I don't feel you have to combat these supreme teams, right? You really do. But I don't think you have to do it completely negatively. I suspect Moyes deals with the Cresswell situation by going 3 at the back, by the way. That's what I think he will do. And there'll be someone protective in front of Cresswell, be it Emerson or Fornals. However, what I would do was I would play 4-4-2. I'd play Rice and Flynn Downs in the middle, because I feel we could get the almost only area of weakness where I feel they have is central midfield. Now, I know they can pass it around and all the rest of it, but I feel we can be more mobile and we can be more aggressive than them. And I feel if you had Flynn Downs and Declan Rice in central midfield, I think it would give them something to think about in that. But I feel you've got to offer some threat wide, but you also do have to protect Cresswell. So I'll go Bowen right wing, and I would go Cornet left wing, because I think he's got the speed to get back and help Cresswell out.
I think you're asking for trouble doing that, though, because we know Liverpool are very likely to play 3 centre midfielders, one of them being Thiago. So to let them outnumber us in the middle of the pitch, I think is very risky, to say the best. I would go 3 in midfield for this one. Rice, Souček, and Downs. I'd play all 3 of them.
Nice choice, yeah.
Downs as a defensive midfielder, and then Souček and Rice alternatively, or sometimes both of them, getting up to the pitch to support the 3 in attack. And in that way, it just relieves the pressure on Johnson and Creswell. You almost don't have to attack. Our fullbacks will not be attacking in this game. You will sit back. You'll keep it 4 at the back at all times. Keep it tight. Frustrate Liverpool. And let the attacking guys do the attack and let the support come from the midfield a little bit. And this is where they do have Henderson in there. Well, that's an opportunity, because he's looked well off the pace when I've seen him this season and last season. He's struggling a little bit. Age is catching up with him. It's not looking good in there. Fabinho, I think he had a bit of a fall out with Klopp, didn't he? I think Klopp sort of instructed him to do something, and Fabinho didn't really want to do it. And he was out the team for a couple of games. So I don't know if there's something going on there. Thiago might get rotated. It's unlikely, though.
Fab, not the one with the teeth, the midfielder, Fabinho.
Fabinho, the midfielder.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I think him and Klopp have had a disagreement about something in regards to how Fabinho should be playing or something like that. I was listening to, I heard about it a couple of weeks ago now. It was 2-3 weeks ago now, a while ago. Obviously, played against Man City. But I think we need to outmatch them in the middle of the pitch for numbers. So that would be my middle 3. So that gives me 3 up front, you 2 up front. I'm going to assume it's Scamacca and Antonio you've got.
Yeah, I'm going to go for it. I'm really going to go for it. Have a right, I'll go. Don't care, really. Just, what else can you do? Well, I guess you've told me what else you could do. And David Moyes have other ideas, but I fancy it. 4-4-2 and all that.
My front 3 would be Benrahma, Scamacca, Paqueta. 3 technical, crafty players up there. 3 creative players. 3 players with goals. What?
You've dropped Jared Bowen.
I have dropped Jared Bowen. He's bang out of form. Paqueta, Skamaka, Benrahma.
I
That
heard.
would be my attacking three. And listen, it is a little bit sort of iffy because Liverpool, as we know, attack with fullbacks and they're going to have a little bit of defensive work to do. However, their weakness is in behind their fullbacks. So keep away from Van Dijk. Saying I think Skamaka would give him a bloody good game, but keep away from Van Dijk. Get down the sides of the pitch. Let's get Said, Benrahma and Paqueta pulling out wide and asking questions of Alexander-Arnold, if he starts, because he was meant to be out for about 6 months, and he was out for about 2 games. I was surprised when the team came out. He was just on the bench again. I was, hang on a minute, I thought he was out for ages. I took him out my fantasy league team and everything. I wasted a transfer here. Anyway, so yeah, that would be my team. We, in recent weeks, Gonzo, we've talked about how we're playing Wolves, Fulham, Southampton at the right time. Are we now ready to play Liverpool at the wrong time? Because we saw vintage Salah on Sunday.
Oh, so annoyed. I'm so annoyed. I don't have. Look, there's a lot of hatred towards Liverpool. I see it out there. And I don't. Well, actually, I never traditionally had it. Let's put it. Let's put it that way. My granddad was basically used to work at the docks or the rest of it, and he always just say, "Oh, the people in Liverpool, they're dockers as well," and so on and so forth. But I don't like. I do understand it. I don't like the way they're almost anti-English now. The whole thing's changed, and I find the whole vibe quite difficult. But I haven't got the. I used to respect them, years ago. There's no doubt about it. So I haven't got this hatred for them, which a lot of other people have. But I don't think they do themselves any favors by booing the national anthem and things like that. I think is not nice. Don't like it. So anyway, so it's not like I've got this inbuilt hatred of wanting Salah to fail and wanting Liverpool to fail. I don't. But I was gutted to see him play so well against Man City. I was gutted to see Klopp find a system. That being said, is he not banned?
Yeah, Klopp got sent off.
Oh, that's good, surely. That's got to be good. Klopp being sent off. He can't be doing his normal running up and down and pumping his fist and encouraging the crowd. Mind you, Pep was encouraging the crowd. Did you see him? Pep was going, "Come on, then, bring it on." I like him. I've got to say, I do like Guardiola. And that being said, I don't want Man City. Just so as you know, if you are a Liverpool fan, I don't want Man City to win the Premier League again. I'm sick of it. Anyway, they look like they're coming into form. I just wish they'd have waited for a bit. We've been really lucky though, Geo. I think I don't have overly complain about it. We're really lucky that we played a lot of teams at the right time, as you just alluded to beforehand. We're bound to get someone in form, and it's one of the really good teams. I thought we were quite lucky with City, actually. I think we lost 3-0 to City before they'd hit any form. So I reckon if they had been in form when we played them earlier in the season, they could have put 7 past us. So you never know your luck, mate.
Yeah, I think it's the worst time. I say the worst. I think it's a bad time to play Liverpool. There'll be worse times later on when they have really got momentum behind them and Salah's banging in a goal every other game and stuff like that. But when you watch them against Man City, it's hard not to, as a West Ham fan, watch that game thinking, "Oh, bloody hell, not looking forward to this," because Salah was tearing apart City's defence, and I just thought, especially after watching our defence against Southampton a couple of hours prior, you're watching that thinking, "Oh, no, I don't want to witness this." If Salah played against us like we played against Southampton, you'd have had a hat-trick by half-time. So I'm not looking forward to this one. Bournemouth's in good form as well, who are our next opponents after this. So we're actually going to face 2 teams in good nick back-to-back now. So it's going to be a different test for us and a different test for David Moyes. And I think the team he picks on Wednesday night will be really telling as to what his attitude is in regards to whether we're going there for a point or all 3. And I guess that leads me on to my next question about how confident you are, Gonzo, because I'm not confident at all. No. I've got no confidence in us going there to try and win. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, this, in theory, could be the right game for Antonio because of the distance that's going to be there between our midfield and attack. So having Antonio to hold up and run the channels might not be the bad thing. But I'm almost expecting that. I'm almost expecting to see Fornals and Antonio to start the game. And, I've got this worrying feeling that we're going to see Dawson and Zuma back. We might get one of them back. So it'll be a back 3 with, say, Johnson, Kerr, Creswell, and Soufal right wing back, and Emerson left. Fornals left wing back. Yeah. And then, up front we'll have Antonio, Bowen, and maybe Benrahma because of his performance. And it's just, I'm not looking forward to this one, to be honest with you, and I'm fearing the worst. My confidence is very, very slim. My optimism is very slim, actually, which, you know, I like to think we are quite optimistic usually, maybe a little bit blindly. But for this one, it's just not happening.
And it's to be fair, and it is deafening up there at night games. And they got something to cheer about now because they've had a couple of good results. So it's not an easy place to go at all. Maybe the Klopp thing goes in our favour. Not confident though, Gio. No, it's really hard. But the way that their forward players buzz around, it's not just Salah. You know, Man City were lucky, I felt, that Darwin Núñez's decision making was as poor on a night as it was, because they could have had another couple against Man City, Liverpool. Now, obviously, Man City made so much out of it, dominated possession for large periods of that game, which they did, and maybe they shouldn't have had a goal chalked off and all the rest of it. But when it came to really going for it, that's all I could think. When they brought Núñez on, I wasn't watching Liverpool against Man City. I was watching the team that we were about to be playing next, and I was because he drifted left and cut in a little bit, you know what I mean, all the rest of it. Honestly, I felt like I was replacing the Man City players with Soufal and Keira in my mind, and I was watching all this disaster. It's like a disaster movie going on. So yeah, not confident.
Any final words in your score prediction then?
No, I think we've got yours and my teams are two interesting teams with a little bit of variety, a little bit of change, and something interesting to think about. We're not going to see that. We are going to see Fornals at left wing back and so on and so forth. I only hope. There's one thing I don't want to see, though. If we are going to sit back and not attack at all, I don't think I could quite got it within myself to watch a frustrated Scamacca for 90 minutes when he's isolated, because he will not be happy. And to be fair, they will be up in Merseyside, and I will be at home, and I still will be scared of him, right, when he's annoyed, right? So I'd say he's a scary dude, right? So that I don't think it makes me uncomfortable watching it.
His dad and grand are going to be at Rush Green on them.
Oh yeah, they will. I sort of like shrink. I like tortoise now. Oh, Scamacca's not happy. So yeah, look, who knows? Who knows? I do feel it's hard. I hope. I don't feel, actually. I hope that the Klopp effect brings them down 5%, and we can really raise our game. Maybe we can get a draw out of it. But I think we'll lose 2 or 3-0, if the truth be known.
Yeah, you're clutching at straws there. Hopefully the manager being in the stand rather than the dugout might maybe get a draw.
And some rain and some other things.
Maybe the front lights be a little bit too bright.
That's right. They went the colours clash with the kits and stuff. Yeah, you know, if we wear that horrible, we might frighten them. If we turn up with that thing that looks like a white kit, looks like someone's vomited some like nuclear waste over it, that might scare them. Our kit, there you go, our third kit might really put them off their game.
And the one thing I don't want to hear is fixture congestion. Bollocks to that, right? Because no, honestly, I don't want to hear it. Because we play on Wednesday, we don't play again until Monday. There is plenty of time to rest up and prepare for Bournemouth on Monday night after this fixture, and then our European games following. We need a point in our last 2 games, right? We've already been resting our players in the European games. We can rest them further in the other 2 games. So I don't want to hear about fixture. I don't want, if Moyes says, "Oh well, I've had to rotate the player, busy." Oh, rubbish! There's 1 month in a month's time from now. Roughly, I think so, yeah. The Premier League will have stopped for the World Cup. That's it. There's 1 month of football left, and then the World Cup is here. No talk of fixture congestion, please. There is a lot of games coming up, but there's also a lot of opportunities to rest players. This ain't one of them. If you go before the Man City game, yes, they thumped Rangers, but who doesn't these days? You know, Napoli's slapped them at Ibrox as well. You know, the champion. Oh, they do. It's a free-for-all at Ibrox in the Champions League. Everybody, and at Celtic Park as well, everybody's rocking up and getting 3 points. They're just giving them out. But before that, you know, Liverpool, the statistic yesterday, we read it out before the Southampton game. Liverpool conceded the first goal in the Premier League the most, other than Southampton. You know, teams are getting at them. The first game of the season, Fulham had a pop at them and got a 2-2 draw. I don't want to see us sitting back and playing for a 0-0, but I know we will, because we tried to do it against flipping Southampton. So there's no way we're going to go to Anfield and you go, you know what? Pressure's off, shackles off, let's go for it. This is a free hit. It's a free hit. If we lose, we lose kind of thing. But I'd rather lose than trying to go for it. If it means a 4-0 defeat, so be it. But I'd rather do that than actually we try and grind out a 0-0 and get beat 2-0. And at least have a goal. Try and play something. Let's see Scamacca and Antonio. Try something different. Put Paqueta on there as well. Just have a pop at them. We've seen Liverpool defence be vulnerable this season. We've seen teams getting in behind Alexander-Arnold. Now, I'm a bit like you at the start of the video. I don't subscribe to this. He's been questionable defensively his whole career. Yeah. It's not just happened. He's always been like that. As Klopp said, why are you focusing on that weakness when he's world-class at other parts of the game? Focus on that bits instead. But he is there to be got at, so let's get at him. And if he doesn't start and Milner starts like he did against City, let's get at James Milner then. Let's get whoever plays on the left. I'll tell you what, if it's Fornals, my heart's going to sink. You know, I'm just going to, what's the point? But this is why I'm not confident at all. I think we're going to go there. I think we're going to try and play for a 0-0, and I think we're going to get beat comfortably 2-0 maybe. I'd be surprised we threaten Alisson's goal. When I say that, I don't mean shot tally like Southampton. Shot tally doesn't equate to chances. You know, a lot of long rangers and stuff, which I don't mind, but you can't use that to say, well, we played okay, we're 20 shots. Well, not really. Yes, we had 20 shots, but it doesn't mean we played well. It means we had 20 shots. That's it. That's all it means. So I'll say 2-0 Liverpool. Shall we leave it there?
Yeah, I think so, mate.
Anyway, hopefully Louis doesn't turn up for Liverpool. Hopefully we reign our third kit and always try something a little bit differently. But if you've enjoyed this preview, please do drop a like, comment, subscribe to the channel, and we'll be live at 6:25. It's a 7:30 kickoff on Wednesday, so 6:25 we'll be live with our build-up show, taking a look at the West Ham team, the Liverpool team, and getting interactive with our live chat. We'll catch you then.